Howdy folks, I've been asked to do a review video on this for a while. There was some initial discussion when I did my original 24/7 or Taurus 24/7 Pro videos as to what caliber to go with, and I went with a 45 after doing some research on calibers, and that's what I was comfortable with. And my wife tried my 45. She did not like the 45. It was a little bit too much jump for her. I won't say kick, but it jumped up quite a bit for her. So she shot a friend of mine's 9mm, and she really liked the 9mm. So she liked the benefits and the breakdown of the 24/7 Pro, my Taurus, but she didn't want the larger caliber. So we went out and got her recently a 24/7 Pro 9mm. And we got it a couple of weeks ago. We just took it out to the range the other night, and I have both of them here sitting in front of me. I'm going to show you what's going on. There are some slight differences that I've noticed, and I'm going to show you actual targets from the range so you can get an idea of what those look like. But first, for those of you who are watching my brewing videos, this is the cranberry stuff. We started in the super simple winemaking, and this is really good. So mixed it with a little raw honey after it was done for sweet. Just a little bit of the cranberry sour. It's really, really good. So first things first, safety. I removed both of the magazines, and I will demonstrate on camera. See, nothing, completely empty. Completely empty. That was my 24/7 45, and this is her 9mm, and these are both really dirty because we gave them a workout at the range. And okay, first thing is outside cosmetic difference. It took me a while. I actually sat here for about 10 minutes looking at both guns, sort of side by side, and looking at them both kind of up and down. And I had heard people say that the 45 is actually a little bit bigger, and I do have to agree. When you stack them side by side, the 45 does look a bit bigger. Also, supporting information for that, what leads me to believe that the 45 may be slightly larger is, I'm not sure how well this is going to come out on camera, but if you look at the grip on mine, this is the 45. That's a straight molded plastic grip. There's no rubberization to that at all. It's really comfortable, and it's a great ergonomic grip. That's one of the reasons why I got it. But it's just straight molded plastic with lots of texturing. This is all textured on the inside and outside for grip. If you look at hers, it looks the same at first glance, but you can see that's a rubber add-on. And I'm told everything but the 45 has this rubberized handle, and I didn't really think much of it when I first saw it, other than, hey, it looked kind of neat. I put a couple of rounds through it versus the 45, and I gotta admit, the rubberized handle is really nice. I'll give it that. There is nothing in the world wrong with the 45, and I wouldn't trade my 45 for a rubberized handle, but that's a nice bonus if you go with something other than the 45. I'm told the 40s have it too. So, and the other calibers as well. I'm going to take these apart, and there's some very, very slight differences in the internal stuff that I'm going to show you, but it's all basically the same stuff. Oh, and you can probably see they're both double stack clips, because she got the 17 round. The dull one here, you can't see, the dull one there is the 45. That's actually quite a bit bigger than the 9, but the 9 is, I believe, 17 rounds, and the 45 is 12. And if you're curious, I'm now using Federal Hydroshock ammo. I don't use the pre-frag stuff anymore, and she has the Hydroshock ammo too, but that's just basic Blazer ammo for target practice. We use the Blazer stuff now. Remind me. I want to talk about ammo and shootability and range performance. Okay, so the takedown on both of these is exactly the same, just like I demonstrated in the other videos. You cock it back, and you have this little pin right here that you have to rotate down and you have to pull it out. So I'm going to be very careful of my finish. I'm going to use the spring in here, even on my 45, is still really tight. So I'm going to pop this out ever so gently with my handy dandy Kershaw pocket knife. Now that that's popped out, let's see. There you go. You can see it. I'm going to pull that out. And this is my 45, just like I demonstrated earlier. Again, this is unloaded, so it comes off just like that. So that's the 45. I'm going to set the 45 over here. And 9mm has the exact same teardown. So I'm going to rack it back and lock the slide. I'm going to rotate the pin, and hers is really tough because it's brand new. And I'm going to pop the pin just a little bit with a pocket knife, ever so gently, just to get it to pop out. Okay, pin's out. And again, I'm going to let it rack forward, and again, this is unloaded. Pull the trigger, and it slides off. And this is my 45, this is her 9, and here they are, side by side. Pretty much the exact same stuff. I actually thought they had a different guide rod, but I was mistaken. They're both dirty. I got to clean them. I got some nice CLP break-free that I'm going to use. I use that stuff pretty much exclusively. So I'm going to tear down the barrels, or tear it down, just do a quick field strip, get down just to the barrel on both of them. And yeah, my fingers are getting dirty. I always think it's fun to do a side-by-side comparison on caliber barrels, but obviously the 45 is bigger because it's a bigger barrel, or it's a bigger caliber weapon. But you can see side by side. Oop, let's just do this. That's what they look like. They have that nice polished feed ramp there, and we'll show this side. There we go. So the thicker one is the 9, the thinner one is the 45, and other than that, slight difference in the way it's bored out. Everything else is almost virtually identical. Okay, I have to clean this stuff here in a minute, but before I break out the CLP and start cleaning, oh, by the way, I'm going to do a shameless, non-paid product promotion here real quick. I found, after much ado, that this is the Shiznit shizzle of cleaning your guns. This stuff is it's a CLP break-free cleaner, lubricant, and preservative. This is great. This will clean anything. Definitely cool. Let's see. Oh, that reminds me, there's snap caps in here. I need to get snap caps for her. The only other thing I would recommend getting, you really don't have to have this stuff, but it's always nice. I have this Tetra grease. It's a lubricant, and when I put this together, mine's already greased up. Well, I'll clean it and re-grease it. But what I do is I actually put that grease right along this rail where the slide goes, and because it slides on from the front, I put a large dab up front and a little bit here, and as the slide comes on, it'll actually grease this entire area. That's just because I'm a little paranoid and I'm concerned about the metal sliding back and forth on the plastic rail. I did notice a big improvement after about 100 rounds. If I put 100 rounds through my 45 of dirty, like range reload ammo, I put 100 rounds through this thing, it starts to get really gritty after that. But if I go through 100 rounds and it's greased with this stuff to a responsible degree, I don't have any issues at all. I can go as much as I want to shoot, and there's no issues at all. So, and for those that may be curious, this is a Kershaw. It's one of the Ken Onion designs, and it's the 165-0 ST Vapor 2. So that's my daily carry now. Okay, targets. I was going to talk a little bit about, I had some issues when I took my 45 to the range. I had a couple of failure to fires and misfeeds and all that stuff. We ran about 150 rounds through the 9mm, and there were no issues that we could see. We had one failure to fire, but I checked the round out, and it had a really nice indentation on the primer. I think it was just it was a rage reload. It wasn't a blazer, so I think it was just a bad primer. But out of 150 rounds, that's not bad, and I think it was just the rounds issue. No other feeding issues at all. Trying to think what else before I break out the targets. I think that's it. Alright, so these are my wife's targets, and I think this pretty much tells it all in my book. This first target is the first time, or actually the second time she had fired a pistol ever, and this was my 45, which scared the crap out of her. She's pretty much all over the place. I believe this was at about between 3 and 5 yards. What I want to point out, there's a distinctive vertical right here, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. But that's my 45, and she's honestly a little scared of this because it does kick up a little bit. She loves the 9mm. This was a friend of mine, Landon's 9mm. I think he had a PX. Forget who makes the PX. And she has a vertical, but it's going upwards instead of down on this one. And that's a 9. And notice her grouping is actually, it's quite a bit better in here. So that's her 9. That's I think this was, these are all about a week, well, the first two are a week apart. So this 9 is a week before she shot my 45. And this was one of her targets, the first target of the night for her, Taurus 24/7. She's got one really nice bullseye there. She's got a couple that are high, and the rest of them are all right in here, just a straight vertical line. And we'll talk about that in a bit, I promise. And by the end, 150 rounds through the 24/7. It was only the third time she'd ever shot a pistol. We got one of the big targets. This is hers, and we got one of the color reactives. And I gotta say, for the third time she'd ever shot a pistol, that is some pretty good grouping. And this was actually from, I want to say it was about 15 yards. She took her time. She didn't do any double taps or anything. She took her time, but she did really well. So if you can go from this with a 45 at 3 yards, or 3 to 5, and the really nice grouping on the 15 yard target after the third time, I think you've got a pretty good gun. A lot of that has to do with the user. She's getting a lot more familiar with shooting, but she's much more comfortable with the 9mm. Oh, the vertical stuff on the targets. The only thing I really have to gripe about any of these guns, and I'm not really, gripe is a bad word. The only thing I have to note on these guns is that they have the hindsights, which is a dot over dot. You're not lining 3 up like normal stuff, and it's not, you know, no dot and there's no dot on the back and or a dot on the front. You're lining dot over dot. And with the way these are calibrated from the factory, you have to actually obscure your target. Your dot has to be actually has to be covering your target, and that's where your point of impact is going to be. So that's not the way most targets or most sights are set up. Most sights are set up so that you hover the dot or the front sight just below what you want to shoot so that you can actually see it. The hind sights aren't set up that way. You actually have to put the dot over where you want the bullet to hit. So it takes a couple of rounds. In my wife's case, it took about, I don't know, 50 rounds to start to compensate for that. But once she figured out that the dot actually goes, you put the white dot on the red dot so that you can't see the red dot anymore, she started hitting consistently where she wanted to hit. That's the only thing I really have to complain about or to note on these guns. If you you do have to put about 100 to 150 rounds through them to really get a feel for the sights. I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, I am more than happy to answer. Fire away, and I'm going to get busy cleaning. So y'all have fun, and if anybody buys either one of these, I think you can't lose getting either one, the 45 or the 9mm. Make a video, share it, let everybody know what you think. Or if you didn't get one, let everybody know why you didn't get one. Bye. Oh. Good stuff. You got to start making it.